Alright, I'm doing a quick video on how to fix a crooked steering wheel on a, this is an 84 Chevy K10. Probably work on other models as well. I'm not a mechanic, I've just been fighting with this and couldn't find too much information on it, but my steering wheel driving down the road has been crooked like this for the longest time, and I couldn't figure out how to get it situated, and everybody was saying, giving me different pointers, and you need to do this, you need to do that. Some people recommended getting a steering wheel puller, pulling the steering wheel out, but which I did. I purchased a $20 puller, and that was a big waste of money because when you pull the steering wheel out on this model, it can only go back in one way. It only hooks to the shaft with the whole piece that kind of runs down through the dash one way. So pulling the steering wheel off is pointless to get the steering wheel straight. It has to do with the shaft itself, so, and the gear. So what I ended up doing was I had a leaky steering gearbox down here. It was actually leaking oil, and I knew I needed to replace this, and so I went ahead and purchased one from Advanced Auto Parts. It was $150, but when I was installing this, what I made certain to do through trial and error a few times was this shaft that leads to the steering wheel can only go on this part here one way. In other words, it's got this dimple or nipple thing here. The shaft's got to line up with that. There's another one on the opposite side. It's identical to this, and then you have two bolts, and that has to line up with this piece here. Now this piece did not come with the steering gear itself, but what I ended up having to do was this piece came off my old steering gear. Once we installed it, this was actually, I don't know if you can see the shadow, this was a 12-sided 11mm socket here. We pulled this off of the old gearbox, put it on the new gearbox, and you have to count your turns to the left and to the right to make sure that they're equal. So I had a total of, I think, 3.5 turns. The unit would spin 3.5 turns in total, from left all the way to right. So I needed to line this up so it was equal. So I believe it was 1 3/4 turn was dead center. So this actually lined up, not just lined up in the middle, but had equal turns to the right and equal turns to the left as far as revolutions. Once that was lined up straight, you can spin the shaft that leads to the steering wheel. It just spins freely. So you just needed to make sure it was straight in the cab. The steering wheel is straight in the direction you want in the cab. Make sure it lines up straight with this nipple on the gearbox, and that the gearbox has equal turns to the right and to the left. Now, when I was doing this, I actually also replacing the draglink here, which connects from the pitman arm to, again, I'm not a mechanic, so I don't know what that's called there, but what I did was I actually took the old draglink off, completely off. You need a pitman arm puller to do this, and it was just a couple of bolts, pretty easy, but I took it off so that this arm here could spin freely while I was lining up the steering gear and the steering wheel, again, to make certain that we had equal turns to the right and to the left. Now once this lined up, equal turns to the right or to the left, I then just measured out how far or how long this attachment here, I forgot the name of the word of it now, but anyways, I just measured out how far from here to there that was, put 2 bolts in, installed it, and we're good to go. There's some slight adjusting that I need to do. It is maybe just a hair off center, which I'll do that with adjusting this piece here, and I guess I'll have to undo a bolt and spin one of these guys around, 1 revolution or 2. So basically it adjusts this pitman arm and kind of spins back and forth. But in any case, if you make sure the gearbox is lined up, equal turns to the right or to the left, the steering shaft should connect directly to the gearbox, so it's lined up, and then take and install this this piece here, you should solve your steering wheel problem. Now, I chose to purchase a new one instead of, this is actually what I pulled out, and I think for that whole setup down there was maybe $45 or $50 at Advanced Auto Parts. So instead of me banging on this guy trying to get it loose and situated, I just purchased a whole new setup down there, lined up the gearbox, ran everything, and now my steering wheel, I'm not going to crank it up because we're in the garage now, but now my steering wheel driving down the road is perfectly straight. It's off just a little bit, like I mentioned. I just need to make a slight adjustment, but for the most part it's perfectly straight. You could even take it to an alignment shop now, and they can do the minor adjustments on it. But for those of you that have these old trucks and the wheel is cranked to the right or cranked to the left, or even if you are able to turn really well to the right but only able to turn, you know, a half a turn to the left, then it's likely that something in your gearbox isn't lined up and the gears aren't spun equally to the right or to the left. So anyways, I couldn't find a video on this. I kind of pieced it together and been messing with it all day, so I decided to make a quick video. I hope this helps anybody else that's messing with trying to get the steering wheel straight on a older Chevy. This is a 84 K10. Thanks.